KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning. Happy Monday. God bless. I'm Dominique DePrima. This show right here is called First Things First. And my first thing today and every day, giving thanks, giving praises, asking for blessings from the Most High, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders and getting it going. I like to dedicate today's show to Shepherd T. Powell. It's my mom's husband, her longtime partner. He made his transition on Saturday night, and he will be missed. Our family, family lifting him up in prayer and just wanting to. He's a very private person, but give him some public love right now. You know what we do the first hour of the show? We talk local, left coast. What the heck is going on in your community, your neighborhood, my community? Hour two, we go national, international, and beyond. In the third hour, we do a deep dive with a person or a topic of interest. And today is coincidentally or not Black Marriage Monday. So we're going to do that. We find Steve Harvey deep dive into your relationship and mine, if I had one. So that's coming up. It's also the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington. And I love to get your thoughts on that. You know, how far have we come? Have we achieved any of King's dream? We're still marching. Well, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Of course, the insanity of Jacksonville. But as I said, we usually start with the local. But we start wherever you are at 800-920-1580. Rolling out that red, black, and green carpet via telephone, 800-920-1580. Come on in. Love to hear from you. Your reflections, reciprocity, engagement. I'm joined this morning with a partner in politics. It's been far too long. He's the director of LIVEFREE California, an activist in his own right. And you're a native, like born and raised all your life, Angelino, right, Tim?
Yes, except for the few vacations I went on.
Mm-hmm. You talking about the vacations to the big house?
Uh-huh.
You weren't in California then?
Yeah, but that's the only time I was not in L.A. is when I was on one
in
of those state-sponsored vacations.
I gotcha. Tim Kornegay, welcome.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure and honor to come hang out.
Yeah, it's great to have you in. Man, I know that you are friends with Supervisor Dr. Mark Ridley Thomas.
Yes.
And those of us who, and I consider myself a friend too, today is the day that he will face sentencing.
Yeah, probably a very stressful and challenging day for him. I think that it's a tragedy to have such a lengthy and powerful political life and legacy, to have it tarnished on something like this where nobody has been hurt. And it's really about, just in my opinion, it feels like putting somebody in their place, like you've been doing too much. So here's a way to let you know that at the end of the day, no matter how much good work you've done, when certain operators get mad at you, they can create situations to really challenge your character and put your life in a position where it's painful. And I don't think that's right. I think if he did what they say he did, is it something that mandates being sentenced to prison? I don't think it's that. I don't think someone should be punished for a bad decision, especially when the compliance matrix for what occurred to happen, it had to go through so many levels of, and not to see that as it was a compliance failure as opposed to a crime being committed, I think is just wrong.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's very well said. I agree with everything you said. And I also don't think it's fair, and I guess I never really pondered this in the legal system. If I am fighting a case, but then I have to face sentencing and the judge wants me to show remorse, but yet I am going to appeal, right? And I am innocent in my eyes. That puts me in a bit of a trick bag, because if Dr. Ridley Thomas goes in front of the judge and says, "I'm sorry, I did a thing that that I say I didn't do," there goes the appeal, right?
Yes. What that does is it puts something on record where it creates a view as if you're admitting to
Right.
what they're charging you with. And if you don't admit to it and show some degree of remorse, then the judge feels like you're challenging their position and may feel like he wants to utilize his power to punish you even more than this situation has punished you already.
Yeah, it's I at this point the only thing I can think to do is pray and hope that the judge and the justice system at least considers every person that is accused of a crime that comes to sentencing. Not every person, but many people have letters that say this person has done great community service. They're an asset in some way to the city or town or state that they live in. We talk about Dr. Mark Ridley Thomas. I mean, who needs a letter? Just look around, the imprint of this man and his work is everywhere, and everywhere it's benefiting every Angelino. Yes, particularly black people, but every Angelino. So to me, this whole city, this county should be a letter to the judge.
Yeah, it should be a testament of good work, the legacy of good work to empower communities of folks who need it most. So if they're making a request like that, it's ridiculous, and it's just power play.
Right. I mean, prosecutors are asking for 6 years, which to me is completely ridiculous. I don't think he should be doing any time at all, but if it is to be time, it should be home, not a flight risk, a community pillar who has almost single-handedly revived Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Health Center, put in that whole Baldwin Hill Scenic Overlook, which everyone loves. And the Empowerment Congress, which changed the entire face of the city and the ability for people to engage with city government.
His contribution to L.A., well, really the state has been invaluable because he did a lot as a state assembly person. He did a lot when he was in Sacramento. So it's not just L.A., it's a legacy of good work that is challenged by what appears to be a decision made based on what he thought was right and the people that he was dealing with.
Yeah.
So it's not right. I don't think he should spend a day in jail. I don't think the judge should actually sentence him to anything but use judicial power that they have to set aside the conviction and thank him for all the great work that he's been done.
Yeah. Well, we're on the same page with that, Tim Kornegay. I am at the stage of prayer because I know it's going down today. I don't know what else to do other than talk about it and pray about it. Today's episode of First Things First is brought to you by Wealth Management Financial Advisors, offering tax services, financial planning, and more. Whether you're an individual, a nonprofit organization that needs to get your ducks in a row, or a big or small business, find them at wealthmanagementlb.com. That's wealthmanagementlb.com. I'm Dominique DePrima here with Tim Kornegay, and you're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
Now that's a hit. You used the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for
I'm
details.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Ray Richardson, your sports connection here at KBLA Talk 1580. Join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough every Saturday night at 7 for Out of Bounds, the show that brings some flavor to the world of sports for 60 minutes. We take you beyond the scores and press conferences. We give you our point of view, the way black folks see what's going down. You can join the conversation and give us your analysis at 1-800-920-1580. Out of Bounds every Saturday night at 7 on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
You like the style, though.
Support comes from Getty, presenting The Gospel at Colonus, a theatrical event under the stars that reimagines the story of Oedipus. Blending Greek myth with Black spiritual practice, the show follows the blinded Oedipus as he seeks redemption after a lifetime of tragedy. Co-produced by Court Theater, conceived and adapted by Lee Brewer, with music composed by Bob Telson. Thursdays through Saturdays this September at the Getty Villa Museum. Tickets available now at getty.edu.
I was crossing the street when I met the love of my life. I chased after her. Nothing would stand in my way. Not the dog walker, nor the hot dog vendor. Finally reaching her, I asked, "What do you call that amazing smell?"
It's Gain Flings.
Gain Flings. My love had a name, but more importantly, it had a scent.
Fall in love with Gain Flings. Seriously good scent. Gain Flings with 50% more freshness ingredients versus leading bargain detergent.
Can we make 10,000 thread count sheets?
For Lens Linens, staying in the comfort zone is never an option.
Maximum thread count we could possibly thread.
An industrial seamstress would make their sweet dreams come true.
I want it to feel like you're on a snowflake, on cotton candy, on marshmallows, on a cloud.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
You're listening to K-Drip, where we play all the best classic water-wasting hits like Sprinklers in the Rain and Leaky Faucets. They're tunes from another time because now that we face a hotter, drier future, every drop counts. Despite an extremely wet winter, keep using less water, fixing leaks, and reusing indoor water for your garden. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more ways to conserve. Up next, brushing your teeth with the water on.
K-Drip. Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
Let's get back to Tim Kornegay right now, 800-920-1580. If you got a question or a comment, Live Free California, remind us what it is and what y'all are doing.
Live Free California is 3 initiatives. One of the initiatives is the Live Free California Coalition. Has 20 black-led organizations across the state of California, from San Diego to Sacramento, all working on some level of gun violence reduction, but also training folks around civic engagement and having an understanding of why voting is important. Another one of the initiatives is the development initiatives, and that's dealing with black clergy across the state, also from San Diego to Sacramento, really working with clergy and giving them an understanding of how important it is not only to have figurative windows in your church, but literal windows in your church, so you can look outside and see what the community looks like, and the community can look in, and you can invite the relationship that's necessary in order to build what we would like to believe is black power, because we don't believe that kind of power could ever exist again until the church and the community develop the kind of communication and relationship necessary to work together. And the last of the 3 initiatives is the Black Wellness Program, which is one I'm very fond of because it focuses on movement folks, organizers, activists that are in our network prioritizing self-care. So it's really helping folks develop self-care plans and giving them agreed support in making sure that they do the things necessary so the work that they do is done in a healthy manner and they don't reach the point where it's burnout. because there's a study that was done that indicates for folks that work in the space, for most, they last about 5 years. For black folks usually last about 2 years in the organizing space and the activist space before they get burnt out and quit. And we want to see individuals work healthy and it takes about 2 years to actually get confident, have an internal understanding, and develop your craft to the point where you can apply it in an effective manner. But at the same time, you reach the point of burnout and tend to move on to do other things. So we want folks that when they get good at it and there's ownership in sharing, that they lock in and stay working in the space and don't feel like it's too much for them, because it's very traumatizing. You're carrying around other folks' issues. It's always a fight, and you find yourself in a position reacting to things that aren't in your best interest or in the interest of the communities you work for and represent.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I deal with that just being a radio person an activist doing politics. But it also points up, Tim, that longtime activists like yourself, in many of the others that we know, I think about Skip Townsend, I think about Dr. Melina Abdullah, people that have been doing this well over a decade, what that means about your fortitude, right? If most people don't make it for 2 years, and y'all here 10, 20 years in.
It's always a challenge, and you always have to decide whether it's just something that you want to continue to do. When it's a job, it's easy to transition out. But when you're in your purpose exists as long as you exist. When it doesn't feel like work, when it feels like love, when you feel like you're empowering the folks that you work with, and you're in your assignment from the God of your understanding, then it's a different thing. You can't walk away from something that you know is the right thing to be doing.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I know people do.
Yeah.
And can purpose change? I mean, or do we know for sure, that's my purpose forever?
Well, yes, purpose can change. It can evolve or it can devolve. It's all on the person and the growth process that you're experiencing in the course of. So you can find yourself at a fork in the road where things can change, things can evolve. But if your purpose is changing and uplifting folks that look like you, the community that you come from, then the evolution should be in another direction of uplifting. If you just step out of the space altogether, then maybe it wasn't your purpose. It was a choice that you were making while you were on your journey to find out who you really want to be and what you really want to do.
Whew, yeah, well said. I like to give us a brain refresher in the mornings, and I feel that, speaking of self-care, remember the whole thing with all-time great gymnast Simone Biles. She walked away in the middle of the Olympics because she was not feeling mentally well. Mm-hmm. And she took a lot of criticism for that. Now she's back, and she just won her 8th U.S. championship last night, 10 years after she won her first one. She is now the oldest person ever at 26, ever to win a a U.S. Gymnastics championship. And, we've been saying she's the greatest of all time because she can do things that other people can't, moves that other people can't. But I think it will now be more widely recognized that she's a GOAT. To me, the fact that she moved away, took care of herself, then came back and crushed it is very inspiring.
That's why self-care is so important. If you love you and when you're at your breaking point and you had it, sometimes you have to pause, reevaluate, and refresh and restructure who you are in order to move forward, especially if externally it's been other folks trying to determine who you are and what your destiny should be. So when you take ownership of your accomplishments, the things that you're capable of doing, then you can show up in the manner that she has. And who's to say 26 years old is too old, but somebody that's that age and decides I'm too old for this. But if you can continue to operate at the highest level, why not?
Right. I mean, 8 titles. That sounds pretty goat-like to me.
Yeah.
And I, like I said, I find it inspiring because, like you said, it doesn't matter what other people tell you or what the statistics show. It's where are you?
Yeah.
And what do you think you can do? Let's go to Big Phil calling us from Los Angeles. Jumbo Ola Hotep, what's up?
Good morning, Jumbo. Good morning. Creeked and rise this morning. Devil don't sleep. Prayer keep waking up. Yes, indeed. Look, I'm going to move very quickly. One of my clients, Barbara Morrison, which you, Travis, know, we're giving a huge celebration for her on September the 9th. All the Laws family is going to be out there in Lamert Park. If you're around or you're Travis around, come on out, and we're going to celebrate Barbara Morrison, which she's well-deserved, of course. And not only that, did you see the little sister in the Olympic come back after 2 years they banned her for smoking marijuana? Boy.
Oh, yeah, Sha'Carri. We've been talking about her last week. But another one who... She didn't step away for self-care. She was forced away.
Yeah.
But she looks like she did the work, just listening to her talk. She's talking about impressing herself rather than impressing crowds and staying in her inner voice, and true to herself, I guess.
That's real fortitude right there. That's a breaking point imposed by others, saying that you've trained, you've done all this work all your life, and now because you've made a decision, once again, that you thought was okay, we're going to ban you from the sport. So instead of just falling into a state of depression, she took that time and obviously continued to train and got better.
I mean, she's
faster.
22, right?
Yeah.
So that means when she was going through all that, she was like 20 at the most?
Yeah.
And I was against it anyway. I don't know why they ban people for weed. It's not like it's a performance enhancer. I think if you can run fast when you're smoking weed, you should, get extra credit because most people will just sit around and eat, right?
Yeah.
But, Big Phil, anyway, you were talking about Sha'Carri. Well, Sha'Carri is the right way of saying it. Sha'Carri Richardson, yeah.
One more thing I want to say, Dominic, one other thing. The dead sentence Dave Mark Buckley Thomas, and I prayed that the brother get a leniency. I wish he could have pleaded no contest, if you ask me my opinion. I've been knowing the brother a long time, and, that white woman took that deal. I knew something was going on fishy, and he should have pleaded no contest. So I hope they don't sentence him to prison. So I hope it'll be a house arrest, okay?
Yeah.
So okay for the brother?
Yeah, I think prayers going up on that.
Yeah.
Prayers going up on that. And by some perverted twist of fate, today is the arraignment for LA City Council member Curran Price. Speaking of ridiculous charges, they say theft by embezzlement, perjury, and conflict of interest. I mean, embezzlement because you signed your wife up for benefits while your divorce wasn't complete from your last wife, even though she was actually living with you and she was actually your wife. How is that embezzlement? I call BS.
Well, the letter of the law is extremely complicated. And I think a lot of times that's where we find ourselves in trouble because we have the surface understanding of it, but the intimate understanding of how the law works sometimes can be very tricky, and it's oftentimes prosecutor friendly.
Right, but that's the question I've been asking all along, Tim Kornegay. Why did DA George Gascon decide to charge here when the FBI walked away from that investigation without charging the council member?
Well, I think the real question is, who sent them? Who had that information to say, oh, by the way, Curran Price had his wife on his medical benefits when his divorce wasn't final? You might want to check in that. That's the question to be asked. Who will be responsible for the spark that created this energy, that created an FBI investigation? And did the FBI walk away saying, look, we're going to walk away, but only if you guys prosecute? So that may be something that we don't know took place because they do operate like that.
We got news, traffic, and sports, and continuing the conversation. We do have a lot to talk about. KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. In Pennsylvania, members of the Easton City Council are asking for the public's help in identifying people buried at a plot discovered beneath a city park. The city says the graves were discovered by an outside consultant who used ground-penetrating radar. Several bodies are believed to have been members of the Buffalo Soldiers. They were black members of the Army regiments formed during the 19th century that served on the frontier. Tampa Bay, Florida is under a hurricane watch and a storm surge watch. The National Weather Service issuing those alerts yesterday ahead of Idalia. Hurricane-force winds are possible within the next 48 hours, and water from the coast could rise and move inland. Peak winds could reach 40 miles an hour, and gusts could hit 45. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Labor Day savings start now at Lowe's. Save on select 3-quart mums. Right now, just 2 for $12. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/30 in-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Simone Biles looks like she's ready for the Paris Olympics in 2024 right now. The African-American gymnastics superstar won the U.S. Nationals all-around competition Sunday in San Jose. At age 26, Biles is the oldest woman to win the U.S. Nationals. The 4-time Olympic gold medalist is making a comeback after taking 3 years off since the Tokyo Olympics in 2021. The Dodgers capped a 4-2 road trip with a win at Boston Sunday. Congratulations to the Little Leaguers from El Segundo. They beat Curacao for the Little League World Series championship. Louis Lappy hit a walk-off homer in the bottom of the 6th to win it for El Segundo. First Little League title for a team from LA County since a team from Long Beach won it in 1993. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to K-Drip, where we play all the best classic water-wasting hits like Sprinklers in the Rain and Leaky Faucets. They're tunes from another time because now that we face a hotter, drier future, every drop counts. Despite an extremely wet winter, keep using less water, fixing leaks, and reusing indoor water for your garden. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more ways to conserve. Up next, brushing your teeth with the water on.
K-Drip.
Are you looking for a tax preparation firm that understands the unique financial challenges of African American business owners? Then look no more. Wealth Management Financial Advisors can prepare and file your individual and business taxes. They're committed to providing their clients with the best possible service. See how they make the greatest impact on your taxes. Find them at wealthmanagementlb.com or call them at 562-427-8877. That's 562-427-8877.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing in me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new place. Nothing is everyday.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried New Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
Are you looking to steer your career in a new direction? Driving for the Culver City Bus can be your ticket to a long-lasting career with excellent benefits and paid training. Culver City Bus is looking for customer service and safety-minded bus operators to join the growing team. Culver City Bus offers on-the-job paid training, uniform allowance, and health benefits. Culver City Bus are now even putting their money in your pocket with a one-time $2,500 sign-on bonus. Let us connect you with an essential service job. If you enjoy driving, seek real opportunities for career advancement, and passionate about making a difference in your community, then we invite you to join the team. Start your journey by submitting an application at culvercity.org/job. For more information, visit culvercitybus.com or call the live customer service operator at 310-253-6500. Again, 350-253-6500.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We're talking with Tim Kornegay. He's the director of an organization called LIVEFREE California. And I love when you mention, that you work with at least 20 community-based organizations throughout the state, because I think sometimes we forget how many people are out there doing good work with all the things in the news, with all the challenges that we face as people right now. And so if somebody wanted to get involved, I always say, if you're feeling discouraged, get involved with a community-based organization. Maybe they can reach out to you.
Oh, yeah. You can www.livefreeca.org or www.empowerinitiative.org. Go to the website and tap in. But we're also connected to other Black-led organizations in California. We're connected with California Black Power Network, which is another organization that focuses on political education and teaching, training around the importance of voting, the importance of political advocacy, and they're connected with about 75 other organizations. And we're also connected to the Black Equity Collective out of the Inland Empire, who is headed by Casey Patterson, which is an organization that is very, very talented, very, very impactful, and they're connected to another 50 organizations. And the wonderful thing about the Black Equity Collective is it's all Black women. So it's Black girl magic at its finest, and they do great work. So when you look at the universe of connections, it's a California connection, but there's also a national connection because we're also plugged into Live Free USA. And Live Free USA does the national advocacy, the national voter education. So any of the organizations, Live Free California, California Black Power Network, the Black Equity Collective in the Inland Empire, or Live Free USA to do this, to do the national or the federal level of advocacy, the opportunity is there. It just takes for folks to plug in when they're ready.
So, I don't like talking about these stories so much because I think they're overhyped by the media. But since you're here, I got to ask you, what about over the weekend? We had young people out at the Del Amo Mall fighting with each other. They said it was a large brawl. LA Times says juveniles brawling among themselves and possible gunfire. Something similar happened in the Bay at the Emeryville Mall there.
Yeah.
What do you think about these incidents?
I feel that when you're young like that, then it's a group mentality. What two in the group will do, everybody in the group will follow. The question will be asked, what sparked the incident? And let us all be grateful that there were no lives lost.
Right.
And to think about why are the kids engaging in a behavior like this? And I think it's a famous quote. I could beat it up, but if I do, I apologize, from Maya Angelou, that when you see stuff like that, it's a voice. It's kids crying out to be seen, to be heard, because they're moving around in a world where they're invisible. But nobody thinks that a teenage experience has any value. But if you've been a teenager, then you know your feelings are important. Being heard is very important. And oftentimes the way we find ourselves in situations where we belong is to align ourselves with people who give us value, with others like us that give us value, and we move in the numbers that makes us feel like we're connected with something. So what you're seeing is it's a teenage connectedness. It's not the problem. It's a symptom of the problem. The problem is we aren't seeing kids like we should. We aren't respecting them like we should. We aren't giving them things to do like we should. If you want to, on a larger scale, address some of these issues, put opportunities back in school like it was 50 years ago. Put metal shop back in school. Put welding back in school. Put wood shop back in school.
We have this conversation every 2 weeks. They're there, though, in the community colleges.
But in the community college. But I won't age myself, but they had metal shop when I was in junior high school. They had these art classes where you could learn how to, like, use your hands. They had, I think it was called...
we were still fighting, though, and joining gangs.
Yeah, but it wasn't as bad. What was it called? The class where they taught you how to cook, home economics, where they taught you how to cook and sew and do all these things that as you grew up, you might have didn't like it then, but as you grew up, you was like, oh, I know how to sew. Oh, I know how to cook. And you got these things when you had the internal adhesive for it to stick to.
Yeah. I mean, I also think, that a lot of these youth programs, for jobs and youth programs for recreation are not what they used to be. Maybe I'll pass on the critique I was about to say. Maybe I'll save it for,
It's a symptom. And anytime you see a child acting up, you have to wonder what's going on at home. And all these programs are what they are. But we know that the home environment is critically important. Very, very important.
And the school environment, too. I mean, homes want to blame schools. Schools want to blame homes. I get that. But now you have a lot of kids not now, for a long time in South LA, you've had a lot of kids in foster care, a huge number in foster care, a pretty sizable number that are homeless. So then we have to change the model of what we're offering at school to be able to accommodate kids that don't have that stable environment, to provide them with things that you're expecting the home to provide.
Yes.
Yeah. What about these flash mob robberies? I feel like it's important to note that overall crime is down. We're nowhere near where we were in the 80s. Yes, we saw a bump during the pandemic, but it still didn't get us anywhere near Wild West 80s and 90s. But yet, we hear so much about these flash mob robberies. Everyone's panicking about people going and taking designer purses. What do you attribute that whole trend to?
I think we're living in a culture where property is more important than people. That we want to protect property without investing in people. When you see, those are crimes of opportunity and need, 9 times out of 10. If you want to get in front of something like that, once again, you have to. You don't have to, but it's best to invest in those who are involved in things of that nature. And it goes back to the same thing with the flash mobs and the fighting. If you feel like you don't have anything to lose, you don't have a sense of value, and the only thing that makes you feel like you're something or somebody to give you a sense of confidence is if you have a belt that costs $500, or if you have a purse that costs $2,000, or if you're wearing some kind of designer clothes that's designed by somebody that does not look like you nor invest in the community that you come from, then you have things like this.
You don't think it's organized crime? I mean, the mayor of Los Angeles announced a special task force, and I know she's doing her best to work on the unhoused, but to me, it's partly the reason we have to have press conferences and special task force. Number one, I think the wealthy feel their bubble of safety being penetrated by these, because it's the Gucci store or whatever. And number two, I think that the pressure comes from law enforcement. See, this is why we need more money, even though she just gave them all the money.
Yeah. With the latter about the wealthy feeling like their comfort zone is being violated. Absolutely. Organized crime, no way, no how. If you see these actions on TV, you can see that most of this stuff is an episode of America's Dumbest Criminals. There's nothing organized like this. This is sporadic behavior with maybe a few individuals getting together saying, hey, like, you know what, let's go do this, with no organization whatsoever, and thinking that a multi-million-dollar task force is going to stop this juvenile delinquent behavior or this young adult behavior. It's not going to. This is not new. This is something that was occurring. I want to age myself again. This is something that was occurring when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Which was a long time. The same kind of behavior, the same exact way. And it was not organized crime then, and it is not organized crime now. And what that does is when you tag it organized crime, it creates a criminal statute associated where it takes juvenile sentencing into the adult area where 16 months or 6 months can turn into 20 years. And those kind of statutes should not be attached to this kind of behavior.
Yeah, I don't think they should be attached to any kind of behavior because kids are not adults. A dog is not a cat.
Yeah.
You know, why are we sentencing something as something it isn't? Yeah. Tim Kornegay is here. I'm Dominique DePrima. Love to hear from you, 800-920-1580. We are unapologetically progressive, KBLA, Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
Hi, it's Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580 is inviting you to join us on Saturday, September 16th, 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for our very first economic empowerment event for the community. This event is free and is powered by Caltrans. We're doing this in association with Rambo House, and here's Rambo to tell you more.
Contracts. I'm going to say it again for all of us small business owners out there. Contracts. Rambo House, KBLA, Tavis, me. Oh my God, this is going to be massive. I truly thank Caltrans for giving us the opportunity to focus on contracts. Listen, that's what it's all about to be a small business in LA. That's how we hire our own. That's how we expand our community is contracts. KBLA1580.com is for you to have a seat at our contracts-focused event. Contract Ready does it again. We had over 900 last time. So you guys know how exciting this is. And if you just think that you want to get into contracts and you're close to it, bring your friends out for September 16th at the Marriott Hotel. Listen, you know where to register. KBLA1580.com. Come see me. I can't wait to see you. Let's do it, Tavis.
So be sure to go to KBLA1580.com for all the details. We'll see you Saturday, September 16th.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look. And unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So, let's come together and create a litter-free clean California, once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at a gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event, or join a cleanup event near you. Zero litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
The Los Angeles Urban League helps African American and others in underserved communities achieve true social parity, economic self-reliance, and civil rights. For over 100 years, Los Angeles Urban League has ensured our communities have access to careers with living wages, opportunities to start and grow businesses, and clear pathways to personal and professional growth. Programs like BizCamp, Construction Career Academy, Bob Business Ready, and B-Warp The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Program are examples of the ongoing events designed to make our centennial mission to rebuild Black Wall Street right here in LA a reality. To sign up for our newsletter or to support the Los Angeles Urban League with your time, talents, and donations, visit laul.org. That's laul.org. The Los Angeles Urban League is a proud sponsor of Urban Family Focus, Saturdays at 7 a.m. on KBLA Talk 1580.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
So you'd call it disorganized crime, all these flash mob things.
Very disorganized.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no criminal statutes associated with organized crime because it makes it seem like these things are done in a calculated manner and very sophisticated. So because in the legal system, sophistication equals you should get more time for doing it, that the punishment should be more extreme. I don't think that organized crime tag should be associated with it. Is it criminal behavior? Absolutely. Is it organized crime? Not a chance.
So you just think it's just like people from a community or from a group of friends or whatever that are just like, yeah, we about to go do this. And I do think the copycat situation would be strong for this kind of thing. Oh, yeah, people are running up in malls and doing this and that. Since the media, we do, I don't include myself in a sense, but if it bleeds, it leads, and that's dramatic footage. People running in, running out. It looks exciting. It gets people into that, oh, we're going to hell in a handbasket mentality, but overall crime is down.
Yeah. I don't feel situations like that should get so much attention and get so much, because the investment is about to be enormous. If they're putting together a task force in order to get in front of these particular kind of crimes, and that means that they're going to have to station a different kind of law enforcement team at different places in anticipation that this might be the next place. They're going to have to put a number of investigators behind this to comb through criminal files to look and see who has a propensity to do things like this. They're going to have to assign law enforcement.
So they're getting ready to spend your money.
Yeah, so they're getting ready to spend millions of dollars to stop $100,000 worth of criminal behavior. It doesn't make, financially, it doesn't make sense. What it does is it should alert taxpayers that I don't want my money spent like that. I want my money spent on prevention as opposed to addressing it in the aftermath.
Mental health. I've never seen so many people in my whole lifetime suffering mental health crisis. I'm going to get your take on what that's about when we come back. Plus 16 degrees above normal today and tomorrow, looking triple digits and beyond. Give you a little update on that and more when we come forward. Dominic DePrima, Tim Kornegay, KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hello, I'm Jay Winnick. On 9/11, I lost my brave brother Glenn in the collapse of the World Trade Center. Glenn was a volunteer firefighter who died in the line of duty. Glenn's bravery inspired me to help start the nonprofit that's turned September 11th into a national day of service. For 9/11 this year, please join me by doing what Glenn would have done, taking time to help others. Please visit 911day.org to learn more.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
And when I left the Evan-On, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan.
Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action is the youth component of the impactful CBO, known as the Community Coalition. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action has chapters at almost every South LA high school. Say Yeah, as they are popularly known, is located at 80th and Vermont, but serves young people all over South LA. Under the COCO umbrella, they train youth organizers, help underserved scholars prepare for college, and work with students to help them gain admission to top universities. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action fosters teen activism, where young people have led campaigns moving tens of millions of dollars to South LA schools and forcing officials to make AP classes available to students in under-resourced institutions. SCES scholars have taken part in the March on Washington, been published in major news outlets, and been elected to city council. Long before she was mayor, Karen Bass started the program when she founded the Community Coalition. To donate, volunteer, or enroll a student in South Central Youth Empowered Through Action, please visit cocsouthla.org. cocsouthla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Be ready for extreme heat in your area. On days when extreme heat is expected, take action to keep your home as cool as possible. Set your air conditioner to 78 degrees. If AC isn't available, close blinds and curtains on all windows and run fans counterclockwise. Or find your nearest cooling center. Transportation help may be available. Learn more at heatreadyca.com. Brought to you by the state of California.
We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
Tim Kornegay is with me. If you want to learn more about his organization, go to livefreeca.org or empowerinitiative.org. Hot today, tomorrow, Wednesday. They're saying somewhere between 90 to the triple digits, depending where you are in LA County. Folks got to be careful.
Yeah, very careful. Prioritize your health. Stay hydrated. If you can, you have air conditioning indoors. Stay indoors as much as possible. If you're going to be outdoors, make sure that you have cooling mechanisms like cold towels, frozen bottles of water, just in case you need to cool yourself down. Rub it around your neck, forehead. If you get too hot to bring your temperature down, it might be a little shocking. Take a cold bottle of ice water and stick it up under your arm, but make sure that you're taking care of your health during these heat alerts, because it can be real dangerous, and heat stroke is a real thing. Heat stroke and dehydration are real.
People die. I mean, people die from this. Yeah. There's 3 different kinds of heat stroke you can get, and most of the time they don't know why they're dying. There's cooling stations. If you're trying to find one, dial 311. They'll tell you where you can go, you know, a senior center or a school or somewhere you can go sit in that air and bring your body temperature down. Yeah, so I know everyone's tired of hearing warnings after the hurricane, but, you know, this is pretty serious. Might see 85,000 Kaiser workers going on strike. They voted to authorize a strike Saturday, and they could start October 1st. So I guess if you got something to do at Kaiser, get it done. Get it done right now, because we might be on strike. Yeah. You know, summer strikes.
That's not good.
Yeah, hopefully they come to the table, you know, with some kind of a deal, because everybody's on strike, but there's a good reason for that, you know. Got a couple minutes here, Tim. What's important to you this morning?
People taking care of themselves, especially on these days with this heat, but also prioritizing self. Create a to-do list for the things that you need to do for yourself in order to engage in self-care, positive thoughts. Maintain a positive direction. If you want to be involved in evolutionary behavior, meaning the change in your community, find an organization to plug into, figure out who you need to be in order to make change, not what you need to do. Reach out to any of the organizations that have been mentioned: Live Free California, Black Equity Collective, California Black Power Network, and we'll be doing what we call boot camp trainings in the IE on September the 8th. On September the 9th, we'll have another boot camp training with Pastor Shep and Experienced Christian Ministries on the 8th. If you wanted to participate, go online, register. We'll also be doing another boot camp training in Oakland, California, September the 15th, and we'll be having our year-end symposium October 13th and 14th, 1 day of workshop and celebrating the work that we do. The next day, we'll be taking the folks who are participating with us to the Kende Wiley exhibit in San Francisco to see some amazing artwork by an amazing black artist. I've been there. The size and scope of this work is awesome. I would recommend folks to check it out.
Well,
KBLA 50.
We'll have to touch down on this, why so many folks are suffering from mental health crisis. Sounds like a whole show coming soon. We've got news, traffic, and sports right now. But Tim Kornegay, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.